All right. Good morning, everybody. Thanks for joining me. Thanks, Andrea, for joining me. Davil, Erwin, everybody. Thanks for hanging with me. Please let me know if audio is working and video is working. If there are any problems, I would like to know right away so we don't waste anybody's time. Today, we're talking about something a massage therapist told me close to 20 years ago that set me on the path to fixing my hips, my knees, my feet, my back, my shoulder, my neck. I guess both shoulders really, but really this right shoulder. Um, and it's something that he didn't really. I don't think he understood the gravity of what he was telling me at the time, and it literally changed the course of how I went about trying to fix the chronic pain that I had in my body. And I wanted to share this because it was such a massively important event in my life. I was in a lot of pain in my 20s. My feet hurt just walking like one block. My knees were completely destroyed. My hips would pop and snap. It hurt to just sit in a car for even a few minutes. And hold on one second. It looks like I've got. All right, let's see. I am going to put somebody on timeout here because this is not a place for political discussions. So, boom. So, we're talking about um, being in a ton of pain, being in a lot of hurt, and feeling like my body just couldn't do any of the things I wanted it to be able to do. And I was seeking out help from massage therapists. I was seeking out help from people who seemed like they could fix muscle problems, right? And I had gone to PTs. It didn't really help because in hindsight, I know why it didn't help. But I had gone to chiropractors. I had even started a career going down this path as a body worker. I trained as a rolfer. I trained trying to help people with their own muscle issues and also trying to help myself. And so I went through a lot of different training, different sessions. I got a lot of work done that really helped me feel better, but not where I wanted to be. And so I ended up meeting this one massage therapist who, this was almost 20 years ago. He already at that time had about 20, 21 years of experience. He had a lot of different bodywork training. He understood like all these different modalities of massage. He was teaching people massage. He'd literally written well-regarded textbooks about massage. And I was lucky enough to come into contact with him. And one day, he said he would work on me to try to help me with some of my hip and knee stuff. And I was super excited about that because up until that point, I had, I'd seen the best people I could find, that were within reason. Like I didn't have the money and could not justify in my mind spending like $500 or $1,000 an hour on somebody to try to get rid of my aches and pains. I was in my 20s, I didn't have that kind of money. And this guy was saying, hey, because of some work we were doing together, he was going to work on me and help me, right? Try to help me. And so he worked on my hips and, smashed in on some muscles, inner thigh, all over the place, right? And, a couple times during the session, he had me get up and I walked around a little bit and it just didn't really feel like it was significantly changing. And so he would work and try to loosen and relax some stuff, and it just didn't really feel like it was changing. And I was obviously disappointed because I thought this this is a top tier guy, right? Who, by the way, I will say was also, I'm not even sure if he's still alive, but also was a very, very humble, gentle, very kind and principled guy. So after the session, he kept checking to see like, okay, how's that feel when you walk around? Does it feel any better? I had to be honest and unfortunately say like, it's not any better. My knee still feels really wacky. My hip still feels like something's not right. And he said at that moment, well, we've done a lot on it already. We should probably just let that rest a little bit, see what happens, because sometimes you don't really know whether what you're doing is helping or hurting. And when he said that, my brain, kind of short-circuited, but also like it quickly jumped to, oh, if somebody who has been doing this for, I think it was 21 years at that point, if somebody who has been doing this for 21 years, is teaching this, knows all this stuff about massage and body work, can tell me honestly that he doesn't know, he can't predict whether or not this is going to help something like my hip pain or my knee pain, then I need to go in a different direction. Right? I need to find something where there's some more predictability of results. I need to find something else, because if he's dedicated his life, his time, his effort, his energy, everything into it, and he's not, he's got no, it wasn't about selfishness or anything. He's just being wide open and honest and saying, hey, sometimes we just don't know. So I realized, okay, I should stop searching for the magic savior with the magic hands and the magic elbows and the magic massage techniques who is going to fix my hips and my knee, or my other hip and my other knee. And from that moment, I realized I need to start figuring out how I can fix this myself. Like that was ultimately underneath everything. Like I always wanted a fix, but I really wanted a fix that I could maintain for myself. And his comments made me realize it's not just like it's not the desire to learn how to fix yourself is not just like a self-aggrandizing thing. It's not just like oh, I want to be a hero type of thing. It's actually a necessity, and it's, from what I've seen now, fast forward almost 20 years, it is really the only way. At the root, it is the only way to really build yourself to where you want to be, because nobody is able to build your body for you. It's simply impossible. So when you are in pain, when you're feeling like, oh gosh, I want a savior, it's a natural thing. But like this massage therapist taught me, this teacher taught me, ultimately, anyone on the outside can't really tell what's happening for you on the inside. And they can only give you like a guess of, well, maybe this will help, maybe it won't. And even with exercise, that's true. But I think the difference, a key difference with exercise is, as you are exercising, you are learning to listen, you're learning to pay attention, you're learning what's going on, and after the fact, you're learning what is the effect. You're starting to see cause and effect, and you start to see the consequences of the choices you make with the movements you make, the positions you put your body in. And it's only after you have taken the time to really learn all that that your body really starts to move in the direction that you want it to. All the time you spend looking for the saviors, you look for the quick fixes, sometimes you hit on something that's nice, but if you're searching for my body feeling really good, that is ultimately a journey that you take on your own with your own effort. So, a couple lessons that I want to highlight here. Things that I've seen for myself and with clients that I used to work with. So, number one is that when looking for saviors, there is a danger because there are a lot of healers, there are a lot of people who are there to help you, and they can have the purest intentions of wanting to help you. But they may not know what the limits of their own abilities are. And that can be true no matter how old the therapist or whatever is. Whether they've been trained in a conventional model as a physical therapist or a massage therapist or a chiropractor or an orthopedic surgeon or a personal trainer or whatever mode somebody's been trained in, the school and the school they went to and the instruction that they received is often structured in a way that makes them believe that they can probably do more than is possible, and also creates a perspective where problems are solvable by the expert and not the individual with the problem. So if you look at like orthopedic surgery is a classic example, right? It's every movement problem, every pain problem is a result of a structural issue. Either something is torn, ripped, cracked, wearing down, whatever, that the surgeon alone can fix. Like the patient, no role whatsoever. Basically the patient, you just messed up and now it's up to the surgeon to fix the problem. Okay, that's the classic example, right? Chiropractors can be more, depending on the chiropractor, they may say like, well, all your problems are from your spine. You can't crack your spine yourself. I'm going to crack it for you, and that's going to fix everything. So massage therapists, as somebody who was doing body work and went to a school that trained people in body work, I saw it myself, right? I would hear teachers say, oh, what you're doing is like creating waves of change that will stretch out into your client's future, which is in some ways true, but that's also true for your auto mechanic, right? So you're not, like when you're coming out fresh from any kind of training, you're going to have a certain amount of faith in what you offer, and that may not be an accurate reflection of what you can actually achieve for your client or your patient. And so if you are somebody going to a savior and they have this confidence that they can help you, it may not be an accurate reflection of what they can actually do for you. So, just because they have faith and confidence that you can heal, it's not the same as having the right tools to actually help you heal. It's like, I know that if your car has engine trouble, I have faith that it can be fixed, but I may not be the one who can fix it. I'm not going to tell you, yeah, you can get it better, and then, like, what can I do for you? Like, the faith and the confidence are not related to my own knowledge base, right? And it can be misleading, and it can end up leaving you very frustrated, which is, again, why I just want to tell you, if you are in that place, remember that ultimately you are the one that needs to be doing the work to save yourself. And even though it's hard and long and arduous and sometimes very frustrating work, it is the only way, because nobody can feel what you feel inside your body. I do also want to point out, I talk about muscles here all the time. I'm not saying massage can never help you. I'm not saying any other modality can never help you. Muscles can definitely be helped by massage in certain situations, so let's talk about that. If you have muscles that have been chronically overworked and held in tension, I do think massage can be very helpful. That's why I think I initially found so much relief from really good structural massage, like massage that was based on trying to restore good posture, that was trying to get everything lined up again, to get my body moving correctly. That kind of massage could be really helpful. Massage that doesn't keep alignment in mind, I feel like for me especially, is really not good. A lot of massage that I've seen and experienced focuses on just kind of like loosening up your back muscles and then loosening up the muscles between your shoulder blades, which in my opinion is like the spine stuff, fine. that's fine. But the stuff where you're trying to get the shoulder blades to spread and you're creating more and more rounding of the shoulders, I don't think is a great idea. It definitely made things worse for me when I was undergoing that. So structural massage that keeps alignment in mind, keeps balance in mind. Great, wonderful. However, it doesn't build strength for you. It can never build strength for you. So if you are in a position where you're always rounded like this, getting more massage on your rhomboids and your middle traps is not going to help this. It might temporarily relieve the sense of tension, but it's not actually going to fix what's going on. It can actually make it worse. So it can also give you, massage can also give you flexibility gains. It can help you, like especially with the hips. If you have very stiff, tight thigh muscles, hip muscles from some sort of activity like biking, running, whatever, massage can be super helpful for recovery, for giving you some temporary flexibility gains, but you're still going to have to do work. You're going to have to do stretching. You're going to have to do strength work. You're going to need to put in the work to actually lock in those changes. And I just see Hans from Switzerland. Hey, hello, wie geht's? Now, all this, let's go back to atrophy. So if you're, I want to talk about atrophy because that's where a lot of people's problems lie. That's where my problems were. That's where so many people's problems lie. Atrophy, it's when your body has just gotten weaker. Muscles have gotten weaker because you are not really using your body in a challenging way. In modern life, you're basically just sitting in a chair. You're probably sitting down watching this. Maybe you're on the toilet, killing your hamstrings. Muscles get weak if you don't use them. Use it or lose it. It is a rule. It is a law of the human body. You use it or you lose it. So the problem is, with atrophy, you can feel tight, you can feel achy, you can feel like muscles are just really tense when they have gotten really weak. And that's when you start going to massage and saying, hey, this is tight. Can you just loosen it up for me? And the massage will loosen it up temporarily, but it's not actually going to fix the problem. It can actually make it worse. So you keep going to get more massages to remove the tightness, but it doesn't fix it because it's not going to make the muscles stronger, right? It just makes them weaker. So if you find yourself going to massage after massage after massage after massage, and you keep getting tight and tighter, tenser, and nothing's getting better, keep this in mind, right? Massage will not fix atrophy. Atrophy does create aching and tension, and so if you're caught in this loop, you probably need to break it. You need to start exercising, strengthening, and using the stuff that's complaining. It's trying to get your attention, and trying to reduce that tension is not actually going to fix the problem. So, key example of this, I actually had a client for a very brief period years ago who had neck pain, and this client had been seeing the same massage therapist for, I believe, close to 10 years. And this therapist, the therapist's hypothesis was that the neck muscles were too tight, because she was complaining that the neck muscles were too tight on one side, always too tight on one side. So the massage therapist said, okay, well, because your neck muscles are too strong, you should never exercise your neck and never challenge its range of motion, because the neck muscles are just too tight and too stiff. We're just going to need to loosen, loosen, loosen until you get better. And so she would not do neck exercises, would not turn her head in certain directions, and would not test range of motion. And this kept her in a mode of living where she was just afraid to do anything with her neck. And turning her neck was just forbidden, verboten. Okay, so when we talked about it, she said, well, when I exercise it, it hurts. So according to this massage therapist, it's because the muscles are too whatever, therefore I shouldn't do it. And this one really drove me nuts, because the massage therapist, whatever, basically recorded an audio note for me to listen to. And the fact of her state right, already disproved the hypothesis, right? If the theory is more loosening is going to help it, then I think 10 years is probably enough time to determine whether or not it's going to help. And if it's not, if it's really just staying in the same state forever, then it's obviously not helping. But this therapist was, I don't know if convinced of the theory, had so much faith in the theory, or didn't want to look bad. I don't know what the reality was, but the strategy was not working. But he was willing to stick to his guns and just keep doing it. And if you are the client and you have faith in somebody who seems to have good intentions, that can get you stuck. And it's a very frustrating thing for you and a frustrating thing for somebody like me to see. It's just it's a trap, right? It's a trap. So, you want to pay attention to patterns like that, right? If you see things in your body that get your attention with asymmetry. So in this woman, her one side, the neck was like you could see the muscles. It wasn't like super developed, but you could see the muscles. The other side, there was no muscle. Like it was obviously soft and underdeveloped. So if you see asymmetries like that in your body, they should get your attention and you should address them, right? If your one arm was twice the size of the other one, you'd want to consider what patterns in your life are creating such asymmetry that one arm is twice the mass of the other one, right? Are you doing things that are creating this pattern? Are you always looking to the right? Do you have a computer monitor set somewhere? Do you have a pattern that you are constantly getting yourself into that is pushing your body to its limit? And your body is then going to tell you, hey, there's something going on. It's just not going to spell it out for you in text, right? You actually have to understand, okay, well, what makes it feel better? So what does that mean for me, right? So that's your job, right? So with the sense of muscle balance, I have a whole article on this that's on my website. But if you look up upright health, muscle balance, muscle imbalances, you'll find it's a two-part article. It's very lengthy. You can go into it, and it'll help you understand what to look for. But if you find yourself, most importantly, if you find yourself in a situation where you're seeing a health expert endlessly, constantly, and you're just spinning your wheels, it is okay for you to consider finding somebody else, and keep in mind that ultimately your goal is to be your own savior. It's not about finding the person who knows everything about everything and about your body. That person doesn't exist. You are the only one who can know the maximum amount of information about your body. There is nobody else. Yes, you could be crazy and try to measure and scan and do whatever, all those things, but ultimately you have internal feedback systems that once you learn to interpret them can be vastly superior and faster than using external measurements. In my opinion, could be wrong, but I think that's the best way to go about it. It's the healthiest, most cost-effective, it's calmer, it doesn't put you in danger of all kinds of invasive procedures, and it's deeply satisfying on both a physical, mental, and spiritual level. So I highly encourage you, if your body is hurting, to engage in a conversation with your body to figure out what it means and to be okay with the long period of learning that it might take to get yourself out of pain and feeling really good. So I want to take a moment and just go back through a little bit of this. I saw somebody had mentioned earlier, where'd you go? For some reason I'm having trouble scrolling, but I saw somebody mentioned earlier that their son was a freshman in college. Oh, there it goes. A freshman in college, had a big corrective surgery at age 17 to reshape the head of his femur, and whether I had any ideas. Oh, I see, and has been told he needs periacetabular osteotomy. Okay, so number one, thanks for the question. I'm not a doctor. This is a totally non-medical opinion. I don't know anything about your son. I will say that if you search for upright health dysplasia on Google, you'll probably find relevant content. I have a couple videos and an article about it. I don't know about your son's specifics, so I can't make a recommendation there, but I will say that based on the research I read on PAO or periacetabular osteotomy, I would personally do everything possible to never do that to myself or to anybody I loved if I could avoid it at all, because the surgery itself is, it looks like an absolute nightmare. And the success rates are not particularly encouraging in the long run. When you look at the long-term studies, the few that they've done, it is not an encouraging outlook. And when you think about what the surgeons are doing, literally like cutting and sawing your pelvis into sections and then driving screws, many screws through those bones to allegedly fix a problem, based on all the history of orthopedic surgeries that are less invasive than this one, I would say it would be a hard pass for me personally. And I've had, I had a client who did a video with me. Again, if you search for upright health dysplasia, you'll see Erica did a video with me talking about her hip dysplasia, what she did. And then there was another young lady, maybe almost 10 years ago now, Jacqueline, who had dysplasia. I would look around, dig deeper, and then, one thing that I always try to remind people is, like, you can do everything besides surgery before the surgery. And if you do everything and it just seems like, well, it didn't really help, then you could still do the surgery. But if you do the surgery first, you cannot do the non-invasive things after, right? Like you're committed. Once the saw blades are going and the screws are in, it's done. And things don't always go the way you hope they will go. And based on the long-term research, they don't always go the way you hope they go. So I would say, please look more into that. And then hip stability. If anybody with hip pain, please know that there is a huge world of hip exercise that you can be doing that exposes your weaknesses, exposes your flexibility challenges, and can really improve how your hips feel. There are so many motions, so many different configurations, so many positions that will show you what your body can and cannot do. And those things are the path to more physical freedom and more comfort. Okay, I hope that makes sense. And I'm just going to do one more question here. Oh, well, I'll share this. Anna Rodriguez, Anna Rodriguez from El Paso, Texas. Thank you for sharing your talent and experience. Your free content and being consistent. The mobility of the hips is at almost 100%. Same with injury pain. Oh, cool. So, Anna, I'm so happy that all my content has helped you get out of pain and fix your hip pain and just feel good again. I hope you carry what you've learned forward in your whole life and know and remember always that what you learn here will apply to every part of your body. So thank you for sharing that success. I'm grateful that my free stuff has helped you. And just stay consistent and keep learning. I'm super stoked to hear that. And Houghton Slayton, hey man, love your content. I understand from long ago you are trained as a trainer and also rolfing too. So is that true? So, yes, so that, you caught me. Yes, so I was trained as a rolfer many years ago, but I stopped doing that because I felt like it was too frustrating for me to not be able to help people in the way that they needed to be helped. And also people would come to me seeking magic hands and elbows to fix their problems, and the problems were clearly not going to be fixed by hands and elbows. They needed to exercise. And not everybody who is coming to see a rolfer was willing to do exercise. And that was, like, I could not, in good conscience, it just did not feel good to have people come to me with those expectations that I knew were unrealistic, and I didn't want to waste their time and money or my time going through ministrations that I knew would not fix their problem. Like, it's not, I mean, I guess I could have just taken their money and wasted their time and my time, but I'm not that kind of person. So for me, exercise was clearly the solution for so many issues. And that's how I built myself. That's how I believed I could help more people. And that's why this channel exists. And that's why I no longer do anything along the lines of rolfing. So yeah, I hope that makes sense. Good sleuthing, Houghton. So I swear I saw some other here. Oh, okay, that's it. Last question is from Lori Nordland. Sitting hip flexor lifts. I initially experienced sharp pain in hip flexors. I use my hand to support lifting leg. After a few repetitions, it goes away. What is happening? Sitting hip flexor lifts. I mean, support the thing. After a few repetitions, it goes away. Oh, I mean, it could be just weak. That would be my first thought, right? Is if it goes away after you've warmed it up a little bit, it's probably fine. I would just do some more static holds in the weak position. So if you're like holding it up, like whatever that sitting position is, that start position is, it's tough, I guess, for it to actually activate enough right there from a standstill. So maybe what you want to do is like lean back a little bit more, see if you can get through it that way, and then you can start to sit up and do it. You can also do holds there, or just change the angle up a little bit so you're within 5 to 20 degrees, just somewhere close to that angle, and then get used to it. So like maybe like you're at that angle, and then you're just giving it actually a little resistance, so you're getting used to firing it there. Nothing crazy challenging, but just like, okay, I'm using it, it's getting stronger, I'm holding it here, I feel fatigue, and then relax it, right? Just do like a couple sets of that at a less challenging range. And in a couple days, or maybe the next week, you might notice that those muscles are actually a bit stronger. And when you go into that one piece of the range that's currently a little bit painful, you might find that it's no longer painful because those the muscle and your brain are able to communicate better. The muscle is getting a little bit more efficient at firing, and it's not so uncomfortable. So that's what I would do. I hope that makes sense. I appreciate everybody joining me. I hope the rambling wasn't too rambling. I hope you picked up something useful from here. Please remember that you are your own best savior. I can't emphasize that enough. I will say that forever. If you have more questions, please leave them in the comment section. I appreciate your support. If you want to support this channel and more live streams like this, if you want access to exclusive live streams, which I will do for members only, find me on Patreon. I'm going to be posting, I've decided to start sharing some of the things that I do for myself in the garage or here on the wall. Just all these little training ideas and strategies that I'm exploring, that I work with because I get inspired by somebody else. It can be a really good way to get inspiration for yourself. They just don't really fit as full-on YouTube videos, so I don't want to just blast them out there. But for people who are really interested in exploring what their hips can do, or your shoulders or your spine or whatever, check out the exclusive content that I'll be posting on Patreon. And of course, if you have hip stuff and you want a program that's got a whole lot of things to do for your hips. Check out the Healthy Hips program. I believe the link is somewhere on the screen, but it's at uprighthealth.com/HH. Thanks so much for joining me, and as always, I hope you remember that pain sucks. Life shouldn't.